As far back as the late 1800s, consumers and merchants exchanged goods through the concept of credit, using credit coins and charge plates as currency. It wasn't until about half a century ago that plastic payments as we know them today became a way of life.
Credit cards in the 1950s was in the infancy stages. There were several brands that had emerged. We had MasterCharge, which we know today as MasterCard. We had Bank Americard, which we know today as Visa. You had Diners, which was the first. American Express had come about in the early 1950s. In fact, Bank of America, in order to start the market, they issued about 60,000 cards in Fresno, California, because most of the customers banked at Bank of America, and that was their launching pad to start things moving forward.
The 1990s brought about associated costs borne by merchants and other changes in the complexity of how cards are processed.
In the early 1990s, there were three main groups for merchants. There was retail, hospitality, and the travel industry, and each one had their own specific interchange rate categories. Over the years, card not present and e-commerce became more popular. In the mid to late 90s, B2B payments with commercial cards started to emerge. Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express set all the different interchange rates, and they are paid by the merchants who accept card for payments.
Over the last 20 years, the three basic rate categories morphed into 130-plus different interchange rate categories.
Commercial credit cards altered the industry by adding more business-to-business cards out on the market, making it convenient for businesses to pay other businesses on a quicker time frame. Visa and MasterCard continue to push for more commercial credit card issuing by creating new interchange categories, which in turn created new fee incomes for the credit card issuing banks.
Approximately 75% of the rates that merchants pay for their processing services to their provider is interchange, and that's all paid back to the card issuing banks. Approximately 13% is paid to the card associations, which is Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. These fees are known as assessments. The remaining 12% is shared between the processing switch, the processing platform, the settlement bank, and the processing provider, like Matrix.
Matrix Payment Systems recognized a need for help in managing the card association requirements, costs, and technology during the early years of commercial credit card activity.
Matrix Payment Systems was started in early 2000 by industry professionals, where all have specialized in B2B credit card processing. As commercial card payments grew and interchange became more complex, Matrix became an expert in the B2B payment space. We've been providing merchants with Level 3 data processing on purchasing cards since the mid-90s, and in 2011, Visa and MasterCard announced lower interchange rates on all their commercial cards. Matrix responded by making sure all of our B2B customers were set up with payment gateways that supported Level 3 data processing. Upgrading our merchants with payment gateways also meant many requests for integrating to accounting services and ERP systems, and Matrix has made great strides in that area. Our program became proof positive when we rolled out our fixed flat rate program for our B2B merchants, and we've helped thousands of businesses save money on processing credit cards with Level 3 data. We do it first and we do it best.
With the right mix of products and services, Matrix was able to offer the industry a better way to manage their internal process for payment acceptance that was safe, secure, compliant, and met the data requirements imposed by the card associations.
Matrix provides a better way to manage payment processing with multiple different tools. Number one of the most important aspects of it is having the right partners, the right companies to work with that can process the payments the way we need it done on the front end to get our billing properly so that we are able to reduce your interchange costs at the end of the day. That's how everything ties together to help us manage your costs with Visa and MasterCard's regulations, different types of cards, whether it be commercial, purchasing, fleet, GSA, large ticket. Something we make mandatory is the fact that we need to do custom reviews on every different type of merchant. You can have the same industry, same card, same factors that come into play, and yet one merchant may have a different cost than the other. And there's multiple factors that come into that, again, such as card types, the way they're accepting it, the size of the tickets, their overall sales volume, all those come into play.
Matrix has the in-depth knowledge necessary to help clients manage their commercial credit card acceptance.
Matrix is an industry expert on managing commercial credit card acceptance because it's our primary niche. It's what we do. Our interchange optimization works due to several different variables. One thing that sticks out primarily on the front end is the increases and decreases to Visa and MasterCard's rates. They change. If we don't stay on top of those and monitor those changes, we're going to end up having issues on the billing tables that we've custom structured to all our customers. All those different cards have different information that we need to pass through Visa and MasterCard's association so we know that those process at the lowest possible rate, which in turn is why we're able to offer our merchants fixed guaranteed plans, 90-day free trial so they can get comfortable with us, and monitor them with up-to-date current reviews moving forward. Monitoring is another big part of what we do. We have people in the office here that constantly monitor our merchants and how they're processing their rates, their fees, their card types. Is something not qualifying properly, and why? We have pricing controls in place. We have technology that's constantly changing. Technology plays a big role in what we do to process our cards properly, whether it be a cloud-based solution, which the majority of our merchants are on, these virtual terminals. There's so many of them out there, and yet there's only a select few that'll allow us to cater to our B2B merchants. How does it do that? It makes sure that it's keeping up the times with Visa and MasterCard's assigned rates, the different tiers of interchange pricing for all these card types that I'd mentioned before. If we keep those in check and we keep our staff on top of it, we're able to keep our costs down, which in turn keep our merchants' costs down.
Matrix has helped us understand what the Credit Card Association requirements are to process MasterCard and Visa cards the right way every time to keep our costs down. The gateway they set up for us has given us the ability to do so much more at a much lower cost structure.
PCI compliance was created by the card associations to help protect the cardholder by mitigating fraud, and Matrix continually educates its clients on these evolving standards.
PCI is very important in the industry because historically what's happened is environments were not secure, card data was stored in clear text, and breaches occurred in the card environment. So PCI was developed to really make sure that the merchants, service providers, and manufacturers were doing the right things from a security perspective. Matrix actually has that built into their DNA, and that's why I think it's a great solution.
Matrix prides itself on providing complete transparency and disclosure of all costs and holding itself accountable to clients.
Transparency is important, and that's one of the reasons why I came aboard with Matrix Payment Systems, is that it's a company that in 16 years has never had a Better Business Bureau complaint, ever. So what we say we do, we're going to do it. And when companies are looking to grow and improve, they're going to look and say, you know, is this company an innovator? We've proven it with what we're doing with the flat rate, with enhanced data, as somebody who's an innovator. You know, what's Visa MasterCard going to change in 5 years? And are you going to be with a company that's really set up or knows this market backwards and forwards to keep you ahead of the curve? So in the future, I believe that Matrix Payment Systems is going to make a great impact, being able to provide the great service and cost cutting that we love doing.
For more information, visit www.matrixpaymentsystems.com.